Welcome back to another tutorial. This is going to be a tutorial that's going to be over several parts. It's going to be a system on where we're going to build a kitchen from scratch, right through from building the walls, windows, which will be the first part. Then we'll go into the second part, which will be adding your cupboards. And then from that we'll be then moving across and actually doing things like changing the colors, maybe doing customized worktops, showing you how to do some rendering, how to maybe do working drawings, and then even doing some costings. So the first part today is we're going to show you part one, which is going to be when you start up a new project, which we've done. We've created the new project, and we're now sitting in a new project. And what we're going to do here is we're going to delete the walls. We're going to start from scratch. We're going to create our own kitchen space. We're going to make a little bit of an unusual one to hopefully show you some other little tricks and tips. And let's get on with it. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to right click onto my walls, and when I right click, my mouse little end pointer will turn red. I'm going to go across and I'm going to press remove, and I'm going to remove all my walls. So we're going to start with a blank canvas. I'm going to double click onto the floor, so I'm looking down on the floor. I'm going to come across over here. I'm going to come here, I'm going to say edit walls. I prefer to use the edit walls. It gives me a little bit more area to work with. So today we're going to be working on a floor plan that we're going to create. We're going to be working on initially the floor or the ceiling height to be 2.6 high, so 2 meters 600, and I'm going to be working on a thickness of walls of around 150. So what we're going to do now is we're going to start off by creating some walls. So I'm just going to come across here, I'm going to click, I'm going to drag, and you'll see by dragging across you'll see the wall being created. And if I come up to the top where it says length on the right hand side, I'm going to just highlight that. You'll see it's turned blue. Now I can enter my own measurements, and just by clicking enter on the keyboard will allow me to then keep continuing that without having to go back and changing it at the top each time. So at the moment we're going to be looking at 3.6, so I'm going to do 3 meters 600, and I'm going to press enter on my keyboard, and you'll see that it is locked in across over here. My walls are still attached, so it just makes it a bit easier. When I come down, you'll see that the blue on the top right hand side will stay highlighted, which makes it really easy, because then I just straighten this wall up and I give it a new size by just typing it in on the keyboard. So on this one we're going to go 6225, and I'm just going to press enter. Right, now we're going to do something a little bit different. I'm going to try and do almost like a bay window, but building the walls into a bay, and this is where we're going to eventually put our sink area and things like that, I think. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come down, I'm going to pull this out at an angle. It doesn't have to be a smart angle, I'm just going to make a little bit of an angle here. Or maybe we should make just a square angle. I'll tell you what, let's make a square angle. Okay, and let's make this 700. Okay, and we're going to come out from the bay, we're going to come down, and I'm going to make that about 2:1. I think let's try and keep it nice and format, 2100, and we're going to come back down, and you'll see it'll automatically allow me to line it up to the 700 automatically by just pulling the mouse down. So we're going to enter that, and I'm just going to pull this back. I'm going to make this about 400. About 400. Okay, and now I'm going to pull along again. I haven't done anything at the top. The top right hand corner is still highlighted in blue, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to pull this across. Let's make this 500, make it 550. 5050. And then what I'm going to do here is we're going to have a wall coming down from here. So all I'm going to do is I'm just going to move across about a meter, and I'll come back to that. So you'll see now what's happened is it wasn't actually highlighted. So I just want to make sure it's highlighted. Go 1 meter. Okay, and then I'm going to pull this wall all the way down. And let's make this about 7, what should we do? 7, 8. Let's make it 7,800. There we go. And we're just going to pull this wall in. I'm going to make this 2 meters. And I'm just going to make a little bit of a shape curve here just by clicking and joining the walls up. I'm going to say yes, and now it's given me this sort of shape. Okay, and what I'm going to do here is I'm going to put in like a glass door here that will go down to like a walkway or a hallway. But what I could also do is there is a couple of things that you can do here. I can click over here and I can pull along, and I'm going to make that 1 meter. I'm just going to click here, this, and this I'm actually going to delete afterwards. I'm just doing it to make it a little bit easier for myself. I'm going to do 1 meter like that, and then all I'm going to do is I'm actually going to draw a wall from that line down, and this would be the hallway. So let's make that 1.5 like that. And then what I want to do is I want to draw one on this side, but you'll see the wall is not going to connect properly the way that I want it. It's fine. I just come across to the right hand side and I'm going to say left, and you'll see that it'll automatically line up for me. Okay, so once that is actually done, I don't need that piece anymore. I can come up, I can choose the select tool, I can literally select that piece of wall and I can just delete it, and I'm going to say all, and it's gone. And what's happened now is it's created where I'm going to eventually put a little hallway or something in there. Okay, maybe what we should do is just close that wall off because it's going to be running out to infinity. So again, I can just come back up here, click on add wall, I can click on here, click on there, right click, and I've just added a wall to close it off. Okay, so now we're going to say OK. And you'll see now when I move around, it's giving me my wall shapes. I'm quite happy with that. But now what has happened is obviously the floor is going to be incorrect. So what we're going to do is to fix the floor, right click on the floor and go to edit over here, geometry. We're going to click on that. And let's make this a bit bigger so everyone can see it easier. And you can see the outline of where our floor is, and you can see the walls. You just can't see the second walls, but we'll work on that. That's easy enough to work on. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just literally, by using this, making sure I'm on the select tool, I'm literally just going to pull this into that corner. I'm going to pull this across so it's nice and level, and you'll see it'll just snap together. And we're going to pull this one down to that corner. And then this one I'm just going to pull for now. I'm just going to line it all up like that, so we've got a block. Now I need to do some work over here, and I need to do work here, and obviously if we're going to extend that down, we're going to do a little bit of work in there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the plus tool up at the top, the vertex. I'm going to add one which is going to go onto this corner. I need another one on that corner, and then I'm going to need another one for that corner. So I'm just going to add a few there, 3. This one I'm going to add 1, 2, 1, 2, and we'll come back to that one in a minute. Go back to the select tool. Now I can literally click on each of these nodes. I can pull them to where I want to be, and they actually snap to the walls very nicely. It makes it very easy to work with. So I've got my shape there. There's maybe another room off here just to give us a little bit of a curve. Over here I'm going to pull this node and I'm going to snap it to that corner. I'm going to snap this node to that corner, and if the nodes aren't quite on, we can just move them like that, and there we go. Now what I could do is here I can add another node. I can come down here and I can click on the node like that, and then when I come back, you'll see I've got a little arrow now pointing to this node. It's telling me at the moment that that node is at 134. I actually only want that at 1 meter. And you'll see it's actually moved that little node there. So now we've got a little bit of a trick, because now what I can do is I can come in here and I can add a couple of nodes in here, like that. And then all I'm going to do is, because I've already got that one lined up, I know that that's a meter from where I want it. I can just pull these out. And that one there, we wanted 1.5 meters. So I can just type 1500. Because the blue arrow is pointing in the direction that I want it. Press enter. And now I know from that corner to that corner is 1.5 meters. I can take this one and just level it up. So I've created that little box even though I can't see the walls, which is fine. This is all created. I'm happy with that. And I'm going to say OK. And what I've created is our floor plan that we're going to be working with. Okay. So in this part, we're now going to add some some windows and some doors. So the way that I'm going to do that is I'm going to come up here to models, just click on that. When that opens up, I'm going to use this little pin to pin it. Okay. And I'm going to need my tools, so I'm going to click on the tools and I'm going to pin the tools. So now what has happened is we've got our catalogs and we've got our tools on what we're going to work with. Okay. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to put a window on this wall over here. So where do I find windows and doors? They fall under the decor, so I'm going to go to decor. It's going to download now. Once I've got decor, I'm going to look for doors and windows, which is right underneath the decor when you open it, so it's all here. And I'm just going to click on windows. And I think I'm going to put a nice big sliding window in there on the wall. So I'm just going to position it like that for now. I've got a nice window. If I click on the window, it's going to give me the relevant information on the right hand side. So my dimensions are 1600 by 1200 and 1/6 deep. So that's perfect for what I need. I just want to make this at 800 off the floor. Now what I want to do is I want to make sure it's centered in that wall. So I can right click on it. I can come down to center, or I can click Control Home. And now that window is centered on that wall for me. Perfect. I'm going to use the same window. I'm going to put it over on this wall. So I could either copy and just duplicate, or I can just pull another one in. Go onto the wall that you want it on, so it goes blue. And when you let go, you'll see that the window is now placed. I can now move that window. Okay, that window does not want to play with us. So we'll have another look. Let's see what it's doing. Okay, there's the window. So I just wanted to click on the window itself. I think what happened is when I placed it, I hadn't connected the wall. So that's quite a good way for you to see what happens. So if I delete the window, what you need to do is when you're going to place a window or a door on a wall, you have to actually select the wall that you want to place it on. So it'll turn purple. So once it's turned purple, I can drag the window onto that wall. And then when I let go, the window will be placed directly on that wall for us. Now we can move it to wherever we want it. So for this case, I'm just going to move it around. I want it about 1400 from that side. And if I come down to the right hand side down here, I can see there's the measurement that is there. And I'm just going to say on this one, I'm going to actually make it 1400. And again, we're going to make this one 800. And that's it. We're happy with those windows. They're in place. Now the tricky one is going to be, how do we make a nice sort of bay window or something like that? So what we can do is we can go to our corner windows over here. And what we can do is we're going to take this window and I'm going to literally highlight that wall. And I'm going to place it on that wall. Like that. Okay. Now at the moment, don't worry, we know it's too big. We're going to sort that out in a minute. I'm going to take this window and I'm going to place it on that wall. Okay. We know again that it's going to be too big. We're going to adjust that. Now we know from when we set these walls up that those are 700. So what we can do is, while we've got them highlighted like that, I'm just going to come down here, and where the width is, it says 1500. I'm going to make those 700. Okay. And I'm going to do the same on this one. And on this, because we're doing something a little bit different, we are going to have to play around with it. We are going to have to just change it around a little bit. What we're going to do here is, because I've moved it out of the wall, we're just going to move it back in. I'm going to make that 700 because that's what I moved it from, and I'm just going to move it back in onto the wall so it's in the right place. And what we're going to do is, we know we want these about 900 off the floor. So if I go back to properties, I'm going to make that 900. Okay, we're going to do the same on this window. And again, you can change the window sizes and positioning and height wherever you want it. So we're going to have those at 900. Now I need to put a nice window in here. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to go to, let's have a look here, which type of window. I don't want an awning, let's just go to all. Windows. I'm going to use this sliding window here. Push it in onto that wall, and we know it's not going to be big enough yet, so it's fine. We're going to change that, and I'm going to make this window the length that I need. So I'm going to make it another 500. So all I'm going to do is, where it says 1600, I'm going to say plus 500 and enter. And now I've got my window at the full size, but we're going to change this a little bit. We're going to play around a little bit. We're going to first of all make the height of this window 900. Okay, we're going to just double check what the height of these windows are. So by clicking on the window itself, I can see that they're 1150. I'm going to click on this window, and I'm going to make this 1150. So that they're blending nicely. And now what I want to do is, this is where it gets a bit tricky with these sort of corner windows. I'm actually going to make this window 150 bigger that way and 150 bigger that way, because that's the thickness of our walls. So I'm actually going to make it 300. So if I say plus 300, it's going to give me this, because it's telling us we don't have enough space. I'm just going to say yes. So I forced it to go to where I wanted. Okay, it was telling me I was restricted by the wall size. I forced it to go that way. And what I'm going to do now is, I'm going to go to the move tool. And while I've got this on the move tool, I'm going to move this 150. Okay, that's the thickness of this wall. So I'm going to move this 150 that way. So by looking here, I can see there's a red minus there. If I click on the red minus, it's going to move it like that. Okay, and that's exactly how I want that window to look. Quite happy with that. It's going to look quite nice when we finish it. So we've now created a corner window. Okay. What we could also do is, where this window is here, because they're actually quite big, what I want to do is, I just want to move this window 50 mil in. Okay. So I'm going to use the plus tool. The reason being, I want to actually make the window, see, it doesn't come past, it's fine. I want the window in slightly, because I want the window to be fixed to the wall correctly. So I'm going to click here, and I'm going to do the same on this window. That's exactly how we want it, looking nice. Okay, so we've done that. Now, on this side, let's say we're going to have a door going out through to a pantry or whatever that we want. But I want to do it from the opposite side. So what I'm going to do is, I'm going to come in from this side. I'm going to go to doors. And let's take a side hung door, and I'm just going to highlight it onto that wall, bring it down, and I'm going to butt it as close as I can to this wall. And then what I'm going to do is, that's going to be used as my pantry door. And what we're going to do is, once this is brought in, I can then also decide which way I want the swing to be. So at the moment, the swing is coming out this way. I actually want it to go against this wall. So I just right click on the door. I come down where it says mirror. And now when I open the door, if I've got it highlighted and I click on open, you'll see that the door will open the correct way. Okay, and let's put in another door here that would go through to the passageway, but let's put something a little bit different. Let's put in let's have a look here. Let's see if we've got a nice, something a little bit different. Let's put maybe not a French door, because that will be the double door, but why don't we put a nice interior door, something like this maybe in there. Let's see what that's going to look like. And now what I can do is I can just even that up, so I can just click on it, I can say center, it'll center it in that space. Now what I want to do is, that's 2.1, so let's make that 2100. And this door, what height is that door? That door seems to be a bit high, let's make that 2100. And it's quite a wide door. I only want that door to be probably around about 890. Make it 870 with the trim, and I just want to move that door against the wall like that, and that's perfect. This door, we also want, if we wanted it to open into the passageway rather than this way, we would have to place the door from the other side. So what we could do is we can delete that. We would have to come in from this side. Now the problem is, how am I going to see what I'm doing? So what I can do is I can click on the wall, make it purple, right click, and I can say lower. So it hides the wall, it'll hide whatever's attached to the wall as well. And now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take this and I'm going to place it into there, and I'm going to center it, and we're going to change the height of that to 2.1. Okay, and to bring that wall back, I just click on the wall itself and it'll bring that wall back like that. So we've got two doors there, we've got our little area there, and you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to put a sliding door or something on here just to give us a little bit of light. Sliding doors, let's put in a sliding door. I just want like a standard, I don't need anything too fancy. Let's just go for a standard sliding door on this wall over here. And then I'm just going to line it up to that side, so I'm going to click on it, and you'll see it's 2527, so I'm going to make that 2 meters, because that could be like, if the kitchen is going to be over here, we can make this like the dining room area, maybe that pulls through into the lounge or something like that. Okay, so this is going to be part one. We've actually done all the areas that we need to with our windows and with our walls. So we're basically ready now to start part two, which will be starting to lay out cabinets and things like that. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to come up here and I'm going to say save. So this is saved ready now for our next one.